Well, good morning, everyone. It's Friday, and what a great weekend we have in store. And just to remind you, we are worshiping in Clubhouse 5. Unless things change between when I'm recording this and when it's played, we meet at 9 and 11 and enjoy worship together. I hope you can join us in Clubhouse 5. Or at 5 p.m. on TV6 on Sunday afternoon. We worship there too. Hey, our verse for the day, it's a verse that we're finishing up Hebrews chapter 11, the Hall of Faith, but we kind of skipped over it. It sums up the whole chapter. Our verse for the day is going to be verse 6. It says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. Because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. This whole chapter has been about faith, and faith, verse 1, was being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. Without that kind of faith, being certain that Jesus is who he said he was, it's impossible to please God. You can't do good enough. It's your faith that he's looking at. Do you have faith in Jesus? I pray that you do. He loves you so much. He wants you to be a follower of him and part of his family. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Now, we went through the whole chapter, except we didn't go through each person that he mentions. But yesterday we talked about the word others. That we fall into that others, all others. Way too many to name in a little book of the Bible, isn't it? And because we're to be faithful in our life to whatever our calling is. Our calling, for the most part of those of us, is not in suffering for our faith. We may suffer in our life, but no one is yet in this country persecuting us for it. Now, having said that, we need to look at chapter 12, because chapter 12 actually gives us the conclusion of the matter of chapter 11. And how do I know that? Because look at the first word of chapter 12. Therefore. Whenever you see the word therefore, you know it's there for a purpose. And in this case, it's the next sentence says, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. So he's already, the sense, because I've told you about all these great witnesses throughout the history of the world, because of those great cloud of witnesses, what are we to do? Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Now, our race might be different from someone else's, but, loud thing going by, but our race is our race. And he says to run that race with perseverance. In other words, if I can paraphrase, finish strong. There are just people in my life that I just have admired so much, and especially since I've come here to Laguna Woods, who have finished their life strong and not give up on the faith, not turn away from God just because things are not going well. It says, let us run the race marked out for us. But cast off these things. Don't run with a weight. And that weight is, well, he even says, everything that hinders us, and sin especially that entangles us. If we know of things like that, we've got to cast them off, confess them as sin, and get on with running the race of our life. It's staying faithful to God, isn't it? How do we stay faithful? Verse 2 gives us the answer. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who, for the joy set before him, endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. He tells us right there all that Jesus did to demonstrate his love for you. Wow. Who for the joy set before him endured the cross. The cross was not joyous, but he looked ahead. And that was paving the way for you and I to spend eternity with him in heaven. And that, according to this verse, brought Jesus joy. Who are we to not take advantage of that? To live this life in the fullness, we have to live it in faith, because we know from our verse for today, without faith, it is impossible to please God. But we have that faith. How do we keep reminding ourselves of it? We turn our eyes upon Jesus. May this song just keep repeating through your mind as we close this week out on this week of faith. Apply this song to your life, and you'll have no problem keeping the faith. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend in the Lord, and I'll see you on Monday.
Soul, are you weary and troubled? No light in the darkness you see. There's light for a look at the Savior, and life more abundant and free. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. His word shall not fail you, he promised. Believe him and all will be well. Then go to a world that is dying, his perfect salvation to tell. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. And the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory